Jerome Powell just admitted the risk-free era is over. The most powerful man in the financial system just admitted something most people still don't understand. Now, if you don't know who Jerome Powell is, he is the chairman of the Federal Reserve of the United States. And he recently said, there is no risk-free path forward. Ladies and gentlemen, dentists and dentistas. That's not a warning. That is an admission. And it's something we need to really pay attention to. And today I want to explain what that actually means. Because this is not about inflation and it's not about politics. It's about the end of the risk-free era. Now, before we go any further, I want to be clear. The framing of this idea originally came from Robert Kiyosaki, who's the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad. I saw this on his page, and whether you agree with him or not, the insight itself is worth unpacking. I'm not here to repeat headlines. I want to explain what this actually means in real life and what it means to you. Now, most people believe the Federal Reserve exists to protect them, their savings, their job, their lifestyle. But that is not the Federal Reserve's mandate. The Fed's job is to protect the financial system, which means liquidity, protecting the markets, and stability at scale. The individual's outcomes are completely secondary. For over a decade, the system relied on cheap money, low interest rates, massive stimulus during the pandemic, and as a result, low interest rates, lots of cash, asset inflation. And that worked great until inflation showed up. Now the Fed is cornered. Because you see, if they keep the interest rates high, credit tightens, businesses slow down, you hire less people, and as a result, unemployment rises. On the other hand, if you cut interest rates too early, inflation has been slowing down a little bit, but then what will happen if you lower interest rates? Inflation picks back up and it reaccelerates, and the purchasing power of the dollar gets destroyed. And that's exactly why Jerome Powell said there is no risk-free path forward. Based on their previous actions and inactions, they've literally painted themselves into a corner. Now, I want to take a quick pause here. In case we haven't met yet, my name is Dr. Jonny Walker, aka Jonathan with Anachi. I'm an endodontist by training, and I was one time a full-time burned out endodontist. But today, I've put endodontics as part-time. It's sort of on the sidecar, as an optionality. There's an optionality to it. And today, I'm the founder of Walk of Wealth, where I help successful dentists, business owners, understand passive investing, real assets, and how to build time freedom outside of clinical work. I've personally invested across multiple alternative asset classes, and I spend most of my time evaluating deals alongside my chief investment officer and educating investors. And I'm not here to sell fear or chase headlines. I'm here to help people understand how the system actually works. Because until you understand how the system works, you cannot devise a true strategy that works within that framework. All right, let's get back to the point. Now, this is the important part. This is not an inflation video. In fact, I think my last video was the inflation video. And inflation is just one possible outcome. The real story here is this. The era where you can rely on default strategies, cash, wages, and traditional paper portfolios, ladies and gentlemen, that is over. It's time to realize that. Realize that now before everybody else does. Doing nothing used to feel safe. Today, doing nothing is a decision that you're making, and it carries an enormous amount of risk. Now, when leaders admit that there's no clean solution, the responsibility shifts back to the individual. Not emotionally, but structurally, right? Paper wealth erodes quietly. Wage income disappears loudly. That's why historically, people who own real income producing assets behave very differently in these environments. You see, assets with cash flow, pricing power, and meaningful tax advantages. This isn't fear. This is the cornerstone of financial literacy. After you understand, preparation doesn't mean panic. It means understanding how money actually works. It means building income that doesn't rely on one paycheck, one market, or one policy decision. And it means accepting that no institution is coming to save you. They're not designed for that. And it also means accepting that clarity is actually empowering. Now, when the people in charge admit there's no risk-free path forward, it's not a threat, it's honesty. The question isn't whether change is coming. The question is whether you'll understand it early or experience it late. If you want to learn how people are building income and flexibility outside traditional systems, well, you're subscribed to the right channel. This is what we talk about here. All right, guys, I'll see you on the next video.